Hey guys, so for today's video we're going to be doing another Ballin' on a Budget series, and today we're going to be talking about brushes. So I'm not going to be talking about my entire collection of brushes, we're just going to be going over face brushes for today's video. All affordable brushes that you need in your collection if you're ballin' on a budget. I'm so corny, I can't even stand it. If you are trying to save money or you're on a budget and you need some nice affordable brushes, these are all the ones in my collection that I love and use on the daily, on my clients, and they're amazing and I love them. We've got everything from sponges to bronzer to powder to contour, highlights, baking, like whatever your little heart desires, I've got it for you, and the majority of them are all under 10 bucks with the exception of some of the sets. So I do have 2 or 3 sets and they're like $10 to $15. So still pretty affordable. I'm not going to be talking about anything crappy that I don't love, use, or like in this video. I'll do a whole separate video for eyes because Lord, I've got a lot of eyeshadow brushes. That's definitely gonna be a much longer video, so I decided to break it up into 2 different videos. So today we'll be talking about face, complexion, everything you need to beat that face, and then I'll do a totally another video for eye products. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. So first things first, let's start off with sponges. Now, if you are like me and you are not a foundation brush girl, I've got all the affordable sponges that I think are amazing for anybody to use. Don't even own a foundation brush. I don't like them. I don't use them. So I'm sorry if you're looking for one. I don't have one. I always go in with a sponge, and I've got all the best affordable ones that I think you guys will like. So the first one I want to talk about is the L'Oreal one. This is my favorite sponge at the drugstore. I want to say this is between $6 and $7 depending on where you buy it, but definitely by far my favorite. I love the shape of it. I use it almost every single day, and I use this over my beauty blender the majority of the time because I just love this sponge and it's affordable. So the shape is good. I love how I can just get up under there underneath my eyes to tap out my concealer, to apply my powder underneath my eyes to bake my concealer. I use this to cut the cheeks if I need my face to be a little more precise looking. Most of all, I love this for my foundation. The only thing I will say is that this isn't like super durable. You probably have to replace this about like every 3 or 4 months. My beauty blender will last me like almost a year the majority of the time, but still a very affordable option, and I really like this. I think it is just as good as the beauty blender. I tend to be a little more rough when I wash it because I do wash my sponges every time I use them with soap and hot water. So I will say if you are a little more gentle, it'll be fine, but if you're rough like I am, like I get in there and I'm like trying to get all the soap out of my sponges, I notice it's a little more prone to tearing. But I think this is amazing and I love it. Next one is the Eco Tool sponge. I think this is around $5, and a lot of people who watched one of my haul videos recommended that I try this, and I did, and I love it. Now, I don't like this so much on a regular basis, so the way that I like to use this, if I'm not doing any eye makeup, I like this sponge because I just find that it's hard for me to do my concealer with this, just because it doesn't have that like point at the top. But as you can see, this is used, it is loved. I've used it quite a few times. This is still a really good sponge. It's very soft, it's very squishy. This also is a little more prone to tearing. I was a little rough with this one. I just need to be a little more gentle. That's what my problem is. But you can see I haven't had this that long, and it does have a little tear right there. So it is a little more prone to tearing, kind of like the L'Oreal one. But if you're gentle with it, it'll be fine. I love these right here. If you can see how they have that edge, it's longer on this side and then a little bit shorter on this side, but I love to like get up and do my concealer. I feel like it just gets up there so nicely because of that flat edge. If you do your eye makeup first and you do use the sponge, this is nice if you want to kind of wing out your eyeshadow. I just find it's a little harder for me to do my concealer with this because of the shape of this. So I reach for this more when I'm not doing any eye makeup and I'm just doing foundation, like basically my full face. Still a really good sponge. And then the next one I want to mention is this one from Morphe. I keep this one in my kit because when I do clients, if I have multiple people, I like to have like a plethora of sponges, especially if I'm doing a big group. So I just threw that in there. I did mention in a video that I couldn't do this sponge for me on an everyday basis just because it's a little too stiff for my liking. So if you like more of a stiff blender, I think you will like this. It blends out fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I just feel like I have to take too much time to go in and blend out for me personally. By the time I'm done with my eyes and my brows, and when it gets to my face, I'm like, okay, let's get this shit on and get the show on the road. I'm ready to be done doing my makeup because I already spent so much time on my eye makeup and my brows. So this for me, it just took a little bit too much extra time because it is a little more stiff. Now, if you like that, it's totally fine. Again, it blends out your foundation and concealer nicely. I use this side for foundation, so I go in and kind of blend everything out on my face. I would flip it over and use this side for concealer because it has that point so you can get up in there. And then when I went into bake, I went in with these corners again because you can get up in there because this is a little more like sharp at the top, but you can also go in and kind of like wing out and clean up the outer V of your eyeshadow if you like to do that. So this is a good sponge, again, very affordable. I want to say this is around $7. It just takes a little more time to blend out your foundation because again, it is a more stiff sponge. I said that 80 million times. Can I stop talking about how stiff it is? But yeah, definitely give that a chance if you're interested. I don't think it's bad. Then again, for me, I'm just lazy and I want to get my face over with. But I do like to use it on my clients. When I'm working on clients, I always take my time. So I'm not really in a rush anyway, so it works perfectly for that. And then the last one I want to mention is this one from EcoTools. Everybody probably knows about this. I want to say this was the like first affordable sponge to come out on the market. These are the ones that I like to keep in my kit. So I've got like a lot of these just lying around because I use them in my kit. I don't use them so much on myself because I already have so many sponges that I use. I keep these specifically in my kit. They're very affordable. They're around $5. I like to buy them when they're on sale at Ulta. When they're, I think, 20% off, I can get them for like $3, so I'll buy a bunch of them then. These, like, you can never go wrong with them. They blend out foundation beautifully. They are definitely much more durable than the other 3 sponges that I mentioned. So, like, as much as I love the L'Oreal sponge, this one lasts a lot longer than that. It's very soft, it's very squishy, it blends creams out like to perfection, and you can't go wrong with them. They also sell them in the 2-packs. I believe these are a little easier to find too. They literally sell them everywhere. I even think they sell them at like Marshalls and TJ Maxx and places like that. I have a harder time finding the EcoTools and the L'Oreal one. Like, they're always sold out or they're not sold at stores that I'm shopping at. These you can find everywhere and they're amazing. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the rest of the face brushes. So I'm gonna go kind of in order of the way that I apply my products, and then I'll go ahead and talk about sets last. Let's start with bronzer, and the first one I wanna mention is this brush right here. This one is from EcoTools. This is called the Full Powder Brush. Now, I don't use this brush for powder. I use this for bronzer. You can most definitely use it for powder. You can use brushes for like any way that you want. You don't have to use them for the way that they're intended. I definitely don't do that. I like to use this for bronzer because I just love a big fat bronzer brush like this. So when I go in and bronze my face with my butter bronzer, I use this, or I use another one that I'm gonna mention a little bit later on. It's so big, it's so fluffy, and it's so soft. Now, I think EcoTool brushes are so underrated. I've been using EcoTools since I was in high school. 10 years ago. I graduated from high school 10 years ago, and that's how long I've been using their brushes. I am obsessed with EcoTools. They're so good. The quality is incredible, and I do have brushes from EcoTools that I've had since high school, and they've lasted me all of these years. So that's the first thing I want to mention when it comes to these brushes, because a lot of these brushes I'm going to talk about are EcoTools, but this brush is just incredible. I like to bronze my face first, as you guys know, before I go in and contour, and then after I put my blush on, I just kind of like to mesh everything together, and I love to use this brush to do that. And I want to say this brush is around like $6 or $7. So yeah, absolutely amazing. You cannot go wrong with that brush. And then next, let's talk about this one. This is the EcoTools Stippling brush. This is one of the older ones, the the older packaging. I actually think I got this at like TJ Maxx or Marshall's for like $2 or $3. If I do decide to kind of carve out my cheeks or anything like that, this is the perfect brush to go in and kind of like buff that away. I feel like you just always need a good stippling brush. This is also good if you want to do blush. Now it's a little dense for my liking for blush, but you can do blush with this if you want to. If you go in with very little product, you can also take this and kind of buff all of your powders together if you like to do that like I do at the end of my makeup process. You can use this to do that as well. So let's move on to powder brushes. So the first one I want to talk about is unfortunately not a permanent item in the collection, but I'm going to go ahead and mention it because I know you can get it on Amazon and eBay and still in some Target stores. So this is the Sonia Kashuk. This is the number 130 powder brush, and this brush is the best powder brush I've ever used in my entire existence of life. It just applies powder like a dream. So like for me, I don't like to go in with a really heavy hand when it comes to powder because I don't like looking cakey. Nobody likes looking cakey, I don't think, at least. But especially for me, because I'm so oily and I have to go in and set my face with powders or I'm gonna look like a grease ball at the end of the day. It's very easy for me to over powder or look too cakey or look too powdery just because I have to take that step since I'm so oily. So this brush for me is just perfect because it never over applies powder. So I'll tap it into my product or whatever I'm using, loose powder, and I just go in and pack it into the face and it just goes on so beautifully. I just love this brush. I've tried many powder brushes and this one is my favorite. They did replace this. I saw it on the Target website. They do have a replacement for this brush. I have not tried it. I don't know what it's like. I want to say it's a little more expensive as well, but I will go ahead and list it below. Again, I don't know if the bristles are the same, you know, if everything is the same, if it's the same type of brush and they just like repackage the like packaging like this, but I'll go ahead and list it below so you guys can check it out. And if you have used it, go ahead and let me know how it performs because I would love to know, just because I love that powder brush and I can't live without it. Okay, the next one I want to mention is this one. This is the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush, and this brush I want to say is around like $5 or $6. It's not quite as soft as the Sonia Kashuk one. The Sonia Kashuk one is really soft. It feels very luxury, very high quality. This one is not quite that soft, but still this is a really good powder brush. You can see this one is just a little tiny bit smaller. If I'm just going in and really doing like precise powdering, I'll go in with this one. It doesn't overpack powder onto the face. It doesn't make you look super cakey when you use it. And the best part is this is like $5 or $6. So yeah, definitely check this one out. So the next one I want to mention is this brush from Eco Tools. This is called the Sheer Blush Brush. This kind of looks like the Stippling brush, but the bristles are a little longer on this one right here. This is another one that I keep in my kit for my clients, but this one applies blush so beautifully. I know the majority of people like to use more like an angled blush brush, but this, if you have not tried a stippling brush to apply your blush, that's the biggest tongue twister ever. You have to try it. It looks so airbrushed and it just looks so natural. It looks like it's just part of your skin. So I definitely recommend checking out this one. If you're in the market for a new blush brush and you don't really know what to get, or you want to try something other than like your standard angled blush brush, try this one. It's seriously, oh my god, like I can't even explain it. You just have to pick this brush up and try it. It's also good if you want to kind of go in and blend out any harsh lines because it does have those really like long, soft bristles. But yeah, this is absolutely amazing for blush. I love to use this specifically for that. And then let's go ahead and move on to contour brushes. So the first two I'm going to talk about are from Morphe, and this one is the G40 and then this one is the G37. You can tell this one is more of a square brush and then this one is more of a pointed round brush. This one is nice if you want to go in and do like real precise contouring, like you want that snatched like sharp contour. I like to use this brush for that because it's so like small and perfect. Now the bristles on these Morphe brushes are a little more stiff. I think that is what helps the contour go on so nicely. Like, it just packs on product perfectly, but also blends out nicely at the same time. So I like to use both of these for contour. It honestly just depends what I feel like doing. I gravitate more towards this one, the more square shaped one. This one is the G40. I just like the way that this applies contour just a little bit more. But if I really want to go in and sharpen it and just make that face look extra snatched and extra contoured, I will go in with this one. But the thing I like about this more rounded one, this is G37 by the way, again, you can also go in and use this to pack on bake. If you want to bake the under eyes, you can use it for that, or you can also use it to dust away bake because of the shape. It's just a real nice kind of oval shape. So these two, use them mostly for contour, but this one you can use for also other things as well. Okay, let's talk about these three brushes right here. So these first two that I want to mention are from e.l.f. This one is the e.l.f. blush brush, and then this one is the e.l.f. small tapered brush. I thought it said blush for a second. Let me go ahead and get a little bit closer. So this one's a little more flat, and then this one is a little more rounded. The blush brush is my favorite because I do like the flatter shape of it. I feel like it just fits under the eye so perfectly. It also packs on powder beautifully underneath the eye. It never over applies product. It never makes my under eyes look cakey or creasy or crusty or anything gross like that. I love this brush. I have backups of this brush because that's how much I love it. I also like this to dust away my bake when I am done baking. So this is my ultimate favorite, but I like to have this one on hand too. If I feel like I need just a little more coverage, or like I'm extra tired and I really need to be brightened up underneath the eye, I will go in with this one because it's a little more of a rounder shape, so it packs on just a little bit more product if you need a heavier powder application. You can also use this to contour. It is that same type of like perfectly contoured shape. I don't use it for that. I strictly use this underneath my eyes, but again, you can use this brush for whatever you want. Sometimes I'll even use this to wipe away my powder if I'm chiseling out my face and I'm baking right here. I'll use this for that, and sometimes I'll even use it to dust away my bake underneath my eyes, and these brushes are both very affordable. Okay, and then the next one I want to mention is from Morphe. This is the Morphe M178. This is more of like a kind of like a flat brush. I actually keep this one strictly in my kit for my clients, but I like to use this brush for like more precise powder application. If I'm working on somebody who has like a little more dry skin, I don't need to use a lot of powder on them, I'll use this to just go in and kind of like powder certain parts of the face, like the T-zone. It gets in between this part of the face really nicely, the nose, underneath the eyes. Sometimes I'll use this to set the concealer, the chin, or just places where I need to do like more precise powdering. I don't just have to go in and do like a quick dusting. This I really like for that. It's really soft. It's just really nice. It doesn't pick up too much product, and it's affordable. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about highlighting. So I want to talk about these two brushes specifically. The first one is the Morphe M310. This is a fan brush, and I have a love-hate relationship with this brush, but I'm going to mention it because it is very affordable and it does get the job done. So this brush I also keep in my kit. I think I mentioned it in a video. It was honestly just like unusable. It was so frayed, and it just put the highlight on very messily. So I washed it, stuck it in my kit, and I was like, I don't want to let it go because, you know, I had it. I don't like to throw things away if I don't have to. I use one of those roll up pouch brushes where you put all the brushes in and then it rolls up and you tie it. Since I put it in there, it actually flattened it back into shape. So I just keep it in my kit, and like with it being in that pouch, it helps keep it nice and flat. So it like went back to its normal shape. It was so weird. But I want to mention this because this is a really good fan brush when it stays in shape. It's very affordable. It applies highlight beautifully. It gives you that really like nice blinding highlight if you like that look. I want to say this is around like $6, but just keep in mind, for me, this did lose its shape. Again, I have a solution to it, but that was my experience with this brush. I don't know how it's going to be with others. Maybe I got a dud, but this does apply highlight beautifully, and if you like that thinner brush like this, I think you will really enjoy this. And then the next one is also a Morphe brush. This is the Morphe M501, and I got this because I saw on YouTube a lot of people like to apply their highlight with this. It does do a nice job of applying highlight. There's not an issue with that whatsoever. This brush is also very affordable. I want to say it's around like $4 or $5. Really inexpensive. You can also go in and if you want to do like a quick crease color, you could use this for that. You can also do contouring for this if you want like a super sharp contour. If you really like that, you could use this for that. It works for all those reasons. It's a good quality brush, but I use this mainly for highlight for my clients. Just for me, I just prefer to go in with a fan brush, but this does do a good job of highlighting as well. We're pretty much done. I just have a couple of brush sets I want to mention. I wanted to mention them separately just so you guys know that you do have to buy these in a set. You cannot buy them individually, but these sets are also very affordable and they come with multiple brushes. So the first one I want to mention is this one right here. This is the Real Techniques contour brush, and this one comes, I believe, in their Flawless face set, and it's anywhere from $10 to $15 depending on where you buy it. So I'll go ahead and insert a picture so you guys can see what it looks like. This is like the best contour brush I've ever used. I am obsessed with this brush. I have tons and tons of contour brushes. This one is my favorite. This is the one I always reach for, and it's just my go-to. I love it. It applies beautifully, it blends out beautifully, and it never fails me. The only thing is that you can't buy this brush separately. If you're in the market for a brush set and you don't mind spending the extra money, you'll get this brush in it, and it's absolutely amazing. The next two brushes I want to mention are these brushes, and these are from EcoTools. This also comes in a set. I believe this comes in their highlighting set. So this one is their fan brush. Now this is more of a fatter fan brush. You can see it's not quite as thin as the Morphe one. Your highlight is still gonna go on blinding. It just applies a little more product than I like for my liking, but it also comes with this blush brush. They're both really good brushes. They're great quality. They apply the product beautifully, and if you're in the market, I think you should check them out. And then the last one I want to mention is my favorite brush set because I'm obsessed with all three of these brushes. So these are the BH Cosmetics vegan brushes, and I believe these come in the Flawless face set. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. I will definitely link it down below. So I did a whole video on this brush set. I'm not going to talk too much in depth about it because I do have a BH Cosmetics video on my channel. So it comes with this one right here. This is the V17. This is what I like to use to go in and pack powder in this part of my face around my eyebrows because I always do my eyebrows first. That's the first thing I do in my makeup routine. And sometimes when I go in like with my big Sonia Kashuk powder brush, I can mess up my eyebrows. This is what I've been using to just do like more precise powder application. I love this for that, and I also use this brush to set my eyeshadow primers. I was using a smaller, like fluffier brush, but I've switched over to this one because it just is the perfect size and it just packs on powder nicely. It's really great quality, and I'm obsessed with this brush. And then the next one is the fan brush. This is my new favorite fan brush. This is the V14. I'm not sure if you can buy these separately, but I'll go ahead and link them if you can, but I'll definitely link the set as well. So this is to me the most perfect fan brush in the world. It's a fan brush, it applies highlight. It's my favorite and I love it. I'm not gonna talk too much on it. And then this is the V11, and this is my new favorite bronzer brush. So I love this brush. The quality is really good. This has been the one that I've been reaching for the most lately, and it's just beautiful. It's so like soft and luxurious feeling, and it applies bronzer like a friggin' dream. So yeah, these are like my three favorite brushes from BH Cosmetics that I've tried so far. I love them. They're amazing. This does come with another brush. I don't know what happened to it. I think I gave it to somebody. I probably gave it to my mother-in-law, but it came with another like a foundation type brush, like a short kind of fat more of a stiff brush. I just gave that brush away because I didn't have use for it, so I gave it away, but these three are absolutely amazing. I got this whole brush set on sale, I think for like $7 or $8. BH Cosmetics always has sales, like constantly have sales. If you catch yourself on their website while they're having a sale, definitely check out their vegan brushes. They're so, so good. I've also tried their eyeshadow brushes. They're absolutely amazing. I love, love, love the vegan brush collection from BH Cosmetics, but I want to say full price, it's like 14 bucks for 4 brushes that are amazing quality. Their studio line is good too, but I'll mention that in my my video when I talk about the affordable eye brushes. So hopefully this was able to help those of you out if you're on the hunt for more affordable brushes. I don't really use a ton of high-end brushes. I pretty much stick to mainly affordable ones just because they work just as well and you can save money. Like, why spend $50 on a powder brush if you can spend under 10 and it works just as well, you know? Anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you took the time to watch this video, I appreciate it so much. You already know when you guys leave me comments, like my videos, interact with me, talk to me, spend the time watching even me talk on and on and on about makeup. Just know that you are always appreciated for spending time on my channel, and I love you guys so much for it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what else you want to see. Make sure you subscribe before you go if you're not subscribed, and I think that's all I have to say. Go ahead and leave me a comment below on what you guys think of this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.